Hey guys, Happy New Year, and let's start the year with another Logic Pro X tips and tricks video. And this is about creating filter sweeps. Now, there is a filter sweep already set up in Logic, but it's on the electronic drummer track. So what we want to do is copy that and create a separate sweep EQ setup which we can load onto any track, right? So here I've got an audio track. There's nothing on the channel for the track. It's completely blank. And it's Jingo by Candida. I just wanted to get a bit of music on here that we can sweep. I'm not going to play much of that because we'll get a copyright strike or something. Right, so what we do is this. We create a drummer track in the electronic genre. That's important. And there it is. And it creates a bit of drumming and the track itself. Now, if we switch to smart controls, all these electronic drummer tracks they're using the Drum Machine Designer, and it has a high and a low cut filter here, right? If we just cycle around this bit, we just mute the music track, select this region of drumming, Command U to cycle around it, and I can do a high and low sweep. Well, there's the EQ on that drummer track. There it is, and okay, so we've got a high and low cut control that are adjusting the high and low cut, and there's an on-off switch for each. Right, now we need to set all this up on an EQ separate from the drummer track, save it as a preset, we can then load it onto any track. How do we do it? Well, the first thing is, here's the drummer track EQ. Now if we rise up the low cut, you'll see on the leading edge there's a slight peak that emphasizes the frequency being swept, and it's the same on the high cut. On the leading edge there's a slight bump that emphasizes the frequency as you sweep down and up, the same on both. So we want to copy this EQ, so we just do copy, right? Then we go back to our audio track which has got nothing on it, and we open the EQ and paste that preset in from the drummer track EQ. That gives us that little leading edge bump on the high and low cut, right, on where the frequency is, right? Okay, that's that done. But no smart controls, because for some reason, don't ask me why, Apple decided that they would not allow the smart controls to automatically create smart controls for EQs. They'll do it for any other plugin, but not for EQ plugins. Don't ask me why, that's how they did it. So to get smart controls to appear, we have to create one other plugin underneath the EQ. It can be anything, but I like to use the sample delay because it's hardly got any parameters. So I put a little sample delay plugin under the EQ, and remember that EQ we've pasted in the preset from the EQ that's being used for the sweep on the drummer track, right? Okay. So back to our audio track. We've set up the EQ, we've pasted in that preset with a little bump on the rising edge of the low and the high cut. And underneath we've put a sample delay which automatically then creates a smart control panel with two parameters, one controlling the left delay amount and one controlling the right delay amount. Now we need a panel with buttons because we need the button to switch our low and high cut in and out. So bring in the editor, and these are your choices of panels. If you choose Modern Black 66, you get two panels of 6 pots each one has a button next to it. That's what we want, right? Okay, now we go back to our drummer track. We go to the high cut filter. You must be in edit for the smart controls to do this. Select the high cut filter smart control, it's circled in blue. That's the parameter it's controlling, the high cut frequency. Copy it, go back to our audio track, choose the first pot. That's what it's currently controlling, the sample delay, left delay amount. Select that parameter, delete it, and then paste in the parameter that we copied from the smart control panel for the drums. Paste the EQ high cut frequency. Go back to the drummer track, select the low cut filter control, smart control. Select the parameter it's controlling, which is the low cut frequency. Copy back to our track where we're creating this whole EQ sweep and smart control panel. Select the next control pot. It's currently controlling the sample delay right delay amount. Select that parameter and delete. Then paste in the parameter we copied, the low cut frequency for the EQ. Now there's the EQ on our audio track. This now controls the low cut. This now controls the high cut. Now we just have to do the buttons so that we can switch the high and the low cut in and out. So we go back to our drummer track. We select the button next to the high cut filter. Over here, that's what it's controlling, the high cut on off. Copy. Go back to our audio track. Select the button next to the high cut. It's not mapped to anything. Paste. Now that button is controlling the high cut on off next to the high cut control. Go back to the drummer track. There's the low cut. Select the button next to it. Select the parameter that's controlling, which is the low cut on off. Copy. Go back to our audio track. Select the button next to the low cut control. It's not controlling anything. Paste. Done. That's it. Now that we've assigned these two controls and their buttons to our EQ, we don't need the sample delay anymore. We can get rid of that. All right. If we turn the edit off, we're left with two controls. This controls the high cut. This controls the low cut. And that is now across our music track. Right. So I can do this. Now there's one thing. Go back into edit mode. When we bring the come on. When we bring that high cut all the way down, it's only going down to 180 Hertz. That's the minimum range here, 180 Hertz. If you want it to go lower, just bring this down. So I'll put it at 60 Hertz. So my low cut will now go down all the way down to 60 Hertz. If you want to do that. Okay, at the high end of its travel, it goes all the way up to 2K there, 2000 Hertz. That's fine. And then the low cut goes from 20 Hertz up to 16K. Well, 16K is plenty high enough for the high sweep. Okay, but if you want to adjust how low your high cut goes down, you do it there. Okay, right, all done. Okay, so that's done. And now we save it. So track selected, and in the library here, because the only thing on the channel for this track is that EQ with its smart control panel. So now we save it. Save. I'm going to save it as sweep EQ. Save. Bam. Done. So now let's get rid of all this. So now if I start from scratch and create a new track, audio track, put the same bit of music on it just so we've got a bit of music on there. Mute this one. Okay, so there you go, new audio track with a piece of audio on it. And I just go to, with the track selected, go to the library here and load up my sweep EQ. Bam, and there it is, ready to use. Okay, so that's how we create a sweep EQ. And it's in our user patches. We can create an audio track anytime. Here's an empty audio track. Go to our user patches and load that sweep EQ onto the audio track and its channel, and then put some audio onto that audio track and sweep it to our heart's content. Right? But this sweep EQ that we've created and saved in the library can only be loaded onto an audio track. And normally when we're using a sweep, we want to sweep all of the music in our mix, not one individual audio track. So how would we do that? Well, let me delete this audio track. Okay, so look, here's some music. I just grabbed a whole bunch of Apple loops and slung them in here with a drum beat, right? It's not going to sound very good, but... So let's imagine this is your mix. You've got some software instruments, you've got some audio loops or whatever the bits of audio are, you've got a drummer track or two working away. There is your entire song. And you want to sweep a section of your track, your song, right? Well, this is how you do that. We create a new dummy audio track. I'm going to put that at the top. There's nothing on it, but we know on this dummy audio track we can load up our sweep EQ. Right? Let me go to the mixer. We take everything in our mix, or everything that we want to sweep. It can be everything in the mix, or it could be just the bass and all the drums and percussion and a couple of selected synths, and maybe you want to not sweep one or two other synths, whatever it is. I want to sweep my entire mix, so I select the channels for everything in my mix. And with them all selected, I assign everything in my mix to the first available bus output, which for me is bus 8. That's the first empty bus, right? Bam. And because I did that with all of the channels for everything in my mix selected, it assigned the output of every channel for every single track in my mix to bus 8. An auxiliary return is created receiving on bus 8. So my entire mix now, instead of arriving at the final master out, my entire mix goes to this group bus. And from there, it goes to the final stereo out here, right? So my entire mix is going through this stereo group bus on its way to the final output. Now, I get my dummy audio track. I load my sweep EQ onto it. Then in the mixer, I copy the channel strip setting for that dummy audio track, which has got the sweep EQ on. Copy channel strip setting, go to my group bus track, go to the settings slot and paste it in. Paste channel strip setting. Now my sweep EQ has been copied from this dummy audio track and pasted into the group bus track, which the entire music is passing through on its way to the final out, right? Now, you only get access to the smart controls for a selected track, not for a channel in the mixer. So we need to create a track for this auxiliary return. So right click anywhere on the background. Come on, right click anywhere on the background and create track. But before you do that, select the very last track in your track area, right? So that the auxiliary return, this group bus track, will be created at the bottom underneath everything, right? So go to the group bus track, or the channel rather for the group bus, and create a track for it. There is the group bus track. This is now a track for this group bus channel in the mixer. So everything in my mix is going, come on, to the group bus, and this is the track for it. So my whole mix is passing through this group bus track, which has got the sweep EQ on. So if I now select this group bus track and choose the smart controls, there are the smart controls for the group bus track. All right, here we go. Etc. Easy peasy, right? That's how you do that. Now that we've copied our sweep EQ from our dummy audio track, because we created it on an audio track and it's saved it in the library, we can load this sweep EQ anytime onto a dummy audio track. We've now copied it and pasted it onto a group bus channel and its created track. So now the sweep EQ is on this group bus and its track. So if we now select that track for the group bus and go to the library here, we can save it as a preset for the group bus. save. And I'm going to call it Sweep EQ Bus. Bam. It's now saved. So now, let's set everything back how it was. Get everything in my mix, put it back to the final stereo out. Get rid of the group bus. Go away. Get rid of the dummy. Get rid of the track for it. Get rid of the dummy audio track. So now we're back where we started. I've got my mix. I want to sweep it. I go to the mixer. I select everything in my mix. Assign it all to the first available bus. The auxiliary return is created here. I right click, I create a track for that group bus, but first I want it at the bottom, so I select the last track. Because the track, when I create a track for this group bus, it will be created underneath whichever is the selected track. I want it at the bottom here, so select that last track, go to my group bus, everything in the mix is going to the group bus, right click, create a track for it, there's the track for the group bus, and with that group bus track selected, I go to the library, user patches, sweep EQ. I load it directly onto the bus. Bam. There it is, ready to go. I haven't got to create a dummy audio track, load the sweep EQ onto the dummy audio track, copy and paste it onto the group bus. It's now available as a group bus preset, ready to load anytime onto a track that I've created for a group bus. So now everything in my mix is going to this group bus track. Bing, bang, bong. The question is, can we do that for the master output? So we don't have to feed everything through a group bus. We just feed everything to the master output and put the sweep over the final master output. I'm not sure we can actually achieve that actually. Let's set everything back. No, we do it like this. There's my master output. I will copy. We've got the sweep EQ on this group bus, so I'll copy it. Copy channel strip setting. Go to my master output, paste the channel strip setting, and then I'll take everything here, set it all back to the final master out, so everything's feeding out to the master output. We're not going through that group bus anymore. Delete the group bus track and its channel, gone. Now everything's passing through this final output, which has the sweep EQ on. And we create a track for the final master out. Well, you can do it here. Look, track, show output track. There it is, but I don't think this is going to work. The sweep EQ is on it, but I don't think you can get smart controls. Oh, yeah, you are. There you go. So that's another way. So now we copied and pasted that sweep EQ across onto our final output, and then now we've got everything going to the final output, and the sweep EQ is on the final output. We show the track. Show the output track. There it is. Select the smart controls, and now we're sweeping that sweep EQ on the final master out. Instead of sending everything to a group bus and then from there to the final out. So now with that master out selected as a track, we save sweep EQ output, whatever you want to call it. It's now available. Now, will this work? I've got a feeling this is bugged and will not work. Go back to the mixer, reset that channel strip so there's no sweep EQ on it. Everything's feeding to that master out. Right. So we're as we would be normally. Right. We've got our mix going through the final stereo out there. We create a track for it. Create track. I want it, but it doesn't show because you've got to do this. Show output track. So there's the output track. It's got nothing on it. User patches, sweep EQ output, but I've got a feeling now when we go to smart controls with the track for the output selected that it won't show the smart controls. Yeah, you see there's a bug. Doesn't work. So there's no point creating a final sweep EQ and saving it in your output factory, your output channel. You know, this is where you've got presets for the final output. There's no point saving it because it doesn't work. You can't load it. It'll load, but it won't load the smart controls. There's a bug. So that's why it's best. Let's hide that. Hide the output track. That's why it's best Let's reset that. That's why it's best to send everything in your mix to a group bus. Send it all to a group bus. There's your group bus. Make a track for the group bus. We're at the bottom. Select the last track here. Group bus, create a track for it. There's my group bus track. And load from the library. We've already saved it for the bus. Load it. And on the group bus, every time the smart controls are visible when you go and load it. But there's a bug. If you do the same thing, create and save it for a master output, when you load it from the library, it loads, but it won't show the smart controls. So the best way is always to feed everything or whichever parts of your mix you want into the group bus, create a track for it, and then load that sweep EQ onto that final group bus. Now I've got the sweep EQ on here, which gives me these controls, but I can have other stuff on my group bus. You know, I can put a compressor over my group bus, so I'm compressing the mix. And I could put, I don't know, anything I want on it. I could put a spreader on there to give me a bit more stereo spread, whatever I like. But I've still got that sweep EQ. I've got other effects on that final group bus. But I can still do my sweeps. And the compressor will keep working, the spreader will keep working, anything else on it will keep working, but I'm going to still be doing my sweeps. Right? Yeah, you'll understand how that works. All right. So there you go. That's stuff to do with creating filter sweeps. I hope that's useful.